The red on-air sign above the recording booth at Coulda Been Records had long ago burned out, just like the dreams of most artists who walked through the door. Druski, slumped in his worn-out office chair, was running on fumes and lukewarm coffee. The usual line of hopefuls, rappers whose rhymes were as flimsy as their excuses, singers who hit notes only dogs could appreciate, had just cleared out. The silence was a welcome relief. Then, the bell on a front door jingled. A figure stood in the doorway, silhouetted by the setting sun. He was a small man, wearing a trench coat that seemed far too heavy for the season. He didn't have a beat tape, didn't hand over a flashy press kit, and didn't even introduce himself. He just walked to the center of the room and waited, his face in shadow. "Man, we closed," Druski said, his voice a low grumble. "Come back tomorrow. We doing a showcase for some dude named Lil Regret." The man didn't move. "I'm not here for a showcase," he said, his voice a smooth, low baritone that seemed to hum in the air. "I'm here for a contract." Druski squinted, intrigued despite himself. He was used to audacity, but this was a different kind. He motioned toward the recording booth. "All right, whatever. You got one shot. Let's see what you got." The man, who introduced himself simply as Kael, entered the booth. Druski hit record, and the room was filled with a sound that sent a shiver down his spine. Kael's voice was pure, a rich blend of gravel and silk. He wasn't rapping. He was telling a story over a minimalist, haunting beat, but the lyrics, they were unsettlingly specific. "The day the landlord said you were done, you said you'd leave the city with a suitcase and a gun," Kael sang, his eyes closed. "You almost did, but that phone call came from your uncle. Told you to try comedy." Druski froze. The memory of that day was a deep, buried one. No one knew that detail. His uncle had called him from a payphone in a gas station parking lot. He'd never told anyone. He leaned forward, his heart pounding. The song continued, each verse a new, perfectly accurate memory. The way he lost his first job, the time he gambled his last $50 on a football game and won. The secret name he gave his car. When the song ended, Kael opened his eyes, and they were a piercing, hypnotic blue. "So," he said, his voice a whisper through the microphone, "do you think I've got a chance?" Druski didn't respond. He was staring at the lyric sheet Kael had left on the control board. It was blank. The words hadn't been written down. They had simply been sung into existence. He looked up, and Kael was smiling, a slow, knowing grin that didn't reach his eyes. "The contract is already waiting for your signature, Mr. Desbordes," Kael said, pointing a finger at the blank sheet of paper on Druski's desk. "And all I ask for is what's fair." A chill ran down Druski's spine as he looked at the paper. In the silence of the office, the phrase, "Coulda Been Records," took on a terrifying new meaning. Because at that moment, Druski realized Kael wasn't singing about the past. He was singing about all the futures he hadn't chosen. And with that contract, he was about to sign away the